glands, they have duct, they secrete their secretion through ducts. Thyroid gland is present in neck. It is H-shaped gland having two lobes connected by isthmus. It is present in front of trachea and attached with trachea as well. Right lobe, left lobe and isthmus. The thyroid gland has two types of cells histologically, follicular cells and parafollicular cells. Follicular cells secrete T3 and T4 responsible for metabolism, and parafollicular cells secrete calcitonin responsible for calcium metabolism. The blood supply of thyroid gland is superior thyroid artery, branch of external carotid artery, inferior thyroid artery, branch of thyrocervical trunk. The thyrocervical trunk is originated from subclavian artery, while drained by three veins: superior thyroid vein, middle thyroid vein. Both of these veins drain into internal jugular vein, while the inferior thyroid vein, they drain into the main veins like brachiocephalic vein. Sometimes patient has another lobe just above the isthmus that is called pyramidal lobes. If the thyroid gland has pyramidal lobe, there is another blood supply that is called thyroid imma artery. Thyroid imma artery is originated from main artery. It may be arch of aorta, it may be brachiocephalic trunk or some main vessel. Lymphatic drainage of thyroid gland is pretracheal lymph nodes, paratracheal lymph nodes, prelaryngeal lymph nodes. This is the lymphatic drainage of thyroid gland. Now, how the thyroid gland is formed? That's called embryology. During embryological development, as we know that tongue has a V-shaped sulcus which divides the tongue into anterior 2/3 and posterior 1/3. At the junction of this anterior 2/3 or posterior 1/3, or at the junction of this V, the tip of the V, a duct is swelling is originated embryologically, that is called thyroglossal duct or thyroglossal swelling. This thyroglossal duct descend into the neck and form the thyroid gland. After formation the thyroid gland, the remnant of thyroglossal cyst, the remnant of thyroglossal cyst persist, and it may lead to congenital anomalies like thyroglossal cyst and thyroglossal fistula. Sometimes the thyroglossal duct or thyroglossal proliferation is not able to descend into the neck. अगर ये neck तक नहीं जाएगा तो ये mouth में ही persist करेगा, and that is called lingual thyroid. The normal position of thyroid is, as we discussed, in the neck in front of trachea. If it is not present here, it may be placed upward or downward. It is called ectopic thyroid. Now, hypothalamo-pituitary thyroid axis. As we know that during our physiology time, hypothalamus releases thyroid releasing hormone which act on pituitary gland and secrete thyroid stimulating hormone. Thyroid stimulating hormone act on thyroid gland and releases T3 and T4. If T3 and T4 is in excess quantity, they inhibit the secretion of TSH and TRH, that is called negative feedback. So this hypothalamo pituitary thyroid axis is a normal physiological control of T3 or T4. If there is any problem in this axis, patient may develop hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism. Now, either it is hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism, it is divided into three: primary, secondary, or tertiary. If the pathology is in the thyroid gland, that is called primary problem. If the pathology is in pituitary gland, that is called secondary problem. If the pathology is in hypothalamus, that is called tertiary problem. Now, what is the function of thyroxine? In one sentence, growth. One word, sorry. In one word, growth. Growth may be physical, may be mental. So, thyroxine is responsible for physical growth, mental growth, energy production, calcium mobilization, and increased sensitivity of beta receptors to catecholamines. So, जैसा हमें पता है कि जो फिजिकल ग्रोथ है वो तो अप टू 20 ईयर्स तक होता है, एज कम्पेयर टू दैट जो मेंटल ग्रोथ है, जो ब्रेन की मेन डेवलपमेंट है, वो 2 to 3 ईयर्स के अंदर हो जाती है, जो इनिशियल डेवलपमेंट है। अब अगर बच्चा डिलीवर हुआ और उसको प्रॉपर थायरोक्सिन उसकी बॉडी में नहीं था, तो जो उसकी मेंटल ग्रोथ है वो कंप्रोमाइज़ हो जाएगी, और ये अगर मेंटल ग्रोथ कंप्रोमाइज़ हो गई तो ये फिर आगे जाके लाइफ लॉन्ग परसिस्ट करेगी। सो द थायरोक्सिन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर फिजिकल ग्रोथ एंड मेंटल ग्रोथ। नाउ द नेक्स्ट थिंग इज goiter. What is goiter? Enlargement of thyroid gland is called goiter. Enlargement of thyroid gland is called goiter. Now, there are different ways of classification of goiter. So, one is this classification, anatomical and physiological. Anatomical classification, goiter may be diffusely enlarged. It may be nodular. The nodular one is further divided into, this may be isolated nodule or they may be multiple nodules. So there may be a solitary nodular goiter or there may be multinodular goiter. So the anatomically diffuse goiter, solitary thyroid nodule या solitary goiter, or multiple or multinodular goiter. The physiological one, hyperthyroid goiter, euthyroid goiter, hypothyroid goiter. As the name indicates, hyperthyroid goiter, the secretion of T3 and T4 is more. As compared to euthyroid goiter, the swelling is there, gland is enlarged, but the secretion of T3 T4 is normal. Hypothyroid goiter, the gland is enlarged, but the T3 T4 is low. We will discuss one by one later in this section. This is another classification. Goiter may be simple, goiter may be toxic. If the T3 and T4 is normal, that is called simple goiter. If T3 and T4 is high, that is called toxic goiter. Simple goiter may be again diffuse, nodular. Again, nodular, single nodule, multiple nodule. Toxic is diffuse, multinodular, and adenoma. So this is another classification. So what is hypothyroidism? So have a look on this picture. These are few signs and symptoms of hypothyroidism. Please read the slide carefully. And hyperthyroidism, when the secretion of T3 T4 is high. Again, these are the clinical features of hyperthyroidism. Now, these few clinical features which differentiate our patient as hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism. If the patient hairs are dry, skin is dry, face is puffy, this is a feature of hypothyroidism. As compared to hair loss, bulging eyes and sweating is a feature of hyperthyroidism. Weight gain is a feature of hypothyroidism. Weight loss is a feature of hyperthyroidism. Cold intolerance, bradycardia is in hypothyroidism. Heat intolerance, tachycardia is in hyperthyroidism. Constipation, somnolence and heavy menses is in hypothyroidism. Diarrhea, insomnia and scanty periods in hyperthyroidism. ठीक है, तो क्लिनिकली व्हेन यू आर सिटिंग इन ओपीडी, एक पेशेंट आपके पास आता है, तो आपने देखना क्या है कि वो जब आके आपके सामने बैठा है तो उसने कपड़े किस तरह के पहने हुए। अगर उसने सर्दियों में बहुत नॉर्मल कपड़े पहने हुए, पतले कपड़े पहने हुए, तो इसका मतलब उसको गर्मी ज़्यादा लग रही है। और अगर उसने गर्मियों में बहुत मोटे कपड़े पहने हुए या आम हालात में नॉर्मल से ज़्यादा कपड़े पहने हुए, तो इसका मतलब है उसको सर्दी ज़्यादा लगती है। ठीक है, सो दिस इज़ अ फर्स्ट फीचर इन ओपीडी। सेकंड, आपसे बात कैसे कर रहे हैं। ठीक है, थर्ड, उसका वेट कैसा है, वेट गेन लग रहा है, वेट लॉस लग रहा है। ठीक है, तो ये 2-3 फीचर्स हैं जो कि पेशेंट आपके पास ओपीडी में आता है तो इनिशियली बिफोर टेकिंग हिस्ट्री हम अंदाज़ा लगा सकते हैं कि हमारे पेशेंट को हाइपोथायराइडिज्म है या हाइपरथायराइडिज्म है। डिटेल हिस्ट्री पर, इन्वेस्टिगेशंस पर मजीद चीज़ें क्लियर हो जाएंगी। नाउ हाइपोथायराइडिज्म, हाइपोथायराइडिज्म मे बी इन चिल्ड्रन, दैट इज कॉल्ड क्रेटिनिज्म। एडल्ट में भी होता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड एडल्ट हाइपोथायराइडिज्म। और इफ hypothyroidism in adult and it is severe, that is called myxoedema. Okay? तो इन चिल्ड्रंस में हाइपोथायराइडिज्म क्रेटिनिज्म, एडल्ट में हाइपोथायराइडिज्म एडल्ट हाइपोथायराइडिज्म, और इफ सीवियर हाइपोथायराइडिज्म इन एडल्ट, दैट इज कॉल्ड myxoedema. And what are the types of hyperthyroidism? Hyperthyroidism, diffuse toxic hyperthyroidism, commonly called Graves' disease, toxic multinodular hyperthyroidism, and toxic adenoma. So these are the types of hypothyroidism, these are the types of hyperthyroidism. Now, detail of hypothyroidism. What is the etiology? Hypothyroidism etiology may be congenital or may be acquired. The congenital causes are hypoplasia and maldescent. Hypoplasia and maldescent of the thyroid gland. Enzymes defect, iodine deficiency, intake of goitrogens during pregnancy, pituitary defects, idiopathic, hypothalamic defects. These are all under the heading of congenital. While acquired, iodine deficiency, autoimmune thyroiditis, thyroidectomy, radiotherapy in neck, radiation, radioactive ablation, TSH deficiency, medications, or maybe idiopathic. Now, what are the clinical features? If the hypothyroidism in children, that is called cretinism. So these are the features in clinical features of cretinism. Open posterior fontanelle, nasal stuffiness, macroglossia, tongue मोटा होगा, constipation and abdominal distension, feeding problems, mentally retarded होगा। किसी ज़माने में एक ऐड आता था कि मेरा बच्चा पढ़ाई में कमज़ोर क्यों है, तो that is mental retardation. Slow relaxation of deep tendon jugs, non-pitting edema, coarse feature, umbilical hernia, hoarseness of eyes, growth failure, retarded bone age, and broad hand, stumpy fingers. These are the clinical features of cretinism. Now, how we diagnose? Simple. Advise thyroid profile, T3, T4 and TSH. So, in hypothyroidism, T3 and T4 is low. To compensate this, TSH is high. So, low T3, T4 and high TSH shows cretinism. What is the treatment? Treatment is L-thyroxine. L-thyroxine. ठीक है, dose is 10 microgram per kg per day. In older children, 25 microgram per day. Now, what are the clinical features of adult hypothyroidism? As we discussed before, dry hair, weight gain, cold intolerance, bradycardia, constipation, somnolence, heavy menses, these are the clinical features of adult hypothyroidism. How we diagnose? Low T3, T4, high TSH, advised thyroid profile. Thyroid profile include TSH, T3 and T4. So, once we diagnose our patient as adult hypothyroidism, thyroxine 100 microgram once daily up to 200 microgram. If a patient is old age, having cardiac problem, having hypertension, so start from a lower dose, 50 microgram and increase according to patient response. Now, this is the section of hypothyroidism. Now, the second part of thyroid disorder is hyperthyroidism. So, hyperthyroidism is a metabolic biochemical state. It's a multisystemic disease caused by elevated T3 and T4, or maybe both. What are the causes of hyperthyroidism? As we discussed before, Graves' disease, primary thyrotoxicosis, or diffuse toxic goiter. Plummer disease, secondary thyrotoxicosis, or toxic multinodular goiter. Toxic single adenoma, this is the another one. So there are three types: diffuse toxic goiter, toxic multinodular goiter, and toxic adenoma. These are the three causes of hyperthyroidism. Now, Graves' disease. Graves' disease is the most common type of thyrotoxicosis. It is 50 to 60% of the cases. It is mainly autoimmune in nature, and when it is autoimmune, definitely some autoantibodies involved. So these autoantibodies are thyroid stimulating immunoglobulin, TSI. TSI. Normally, when TSH bind with its receptors, TSH release from pituitary gland. When it binds to the thyroid gland function for 2.5 hours. But once this antibody bind on TSH receptors, the thyroid gland will function for 16 to 24 hours. So a gland normally function for 2 hours. Now it function for 16 to 24 hours. So definitely the amount of secretion of T3 and T4 is much more. So that leads to hyperthyroidism. The other antibodies are antithyroperoxidase, antithyroglobulin, other autoimmune diseases. One more important things, कि autoimmune disease may be an isolated autoimmune disease or maybe a part of syndrome. Okay, this is the same previous axis: hypothalamo pituitary thyroid axis, hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism, primary problem related in the thyroid gland, pituitary problem if it is secondary, the problem related in the pituitary gland, tertiary problem related in the hypothalamus gland. Now, toxic multinodular goiter. Toxic multinodular goiter comprises 20% of the hyperthyroidism. It's more common in elderly patients, long-standing goiter, and the gland has multiple nodules as the name indicates. Toxic adenoma. Toxic adenoma comprises 5% of the patients of hyperthyroidism having a one gland, but the important thing is that the gland is hyperactive. It's not gland. The nodule or adenoma. The nodule or adenoma that is hyperactive, the rest of the gland जो normal gland होगा वो hypoactive होगा. Why? Toxic nodule secreted large quantities of T3 and T4 that inhibit TSH. When they inhibit TSH, so TSH won't act on the normal thyroid gland. So because of negative feedback. तो जब भी T3 T4 बढ़ेगा because of this adenoma, TSH इनहिबिट हो जाएगा. जब TSH इनहिबिट हो जाएगा तो जो नॉर्मल थायराइड ग्लैंड है, नॉर्मल थायराइड ग्लैंड पर वो फंक्शन नहीं कर पाएगा और अल्टीमेटली उसकी पिक्चर हाइपो होगी. दिस इज द रेडियोआइसोटोपिक स्कैन. नॉर्मल A, diagram A is normal, visible two lobes in a homogeneous picture. The B is diffuse toxic goiter. The uptake is very high, but again it is diffuse uptake. In C, C, there is a uptake and the remaining normal functions, that is multinodular goiter. And in the D1, only one nodule is hyperactive, the rest gland is hypoactive. So these are the findings of radioisotope scan. A, normal looking. B, Graves disease. C, toxic MNG. D, toxic adenoma. If anyone asks, what are the indication of radioisotope scan? So the answer is nodularity plus toxicity. Nodule plus toxicity. Multiple nodules plus toxicity. It is not indicated in euthyroid patients. It is even not indicated in Graves disease. यहाँ जो दिखाया गया है वो सिर्फ नॉर्मल और ग्रेव्स में आपको दिखाने के लिए, सिर्फ समझाने के लिए पिक्चर्स दिखाई गई हैं कि नज़र किस तरह का आता है थायराइड ग्लैंड. थायराइड ग्लैंड radioisotope scan is not indicated in Graves disease. Yes, it is indicated in toxic MNG. Yes, it is indicated in toxic adenoma, but it is not indicated in Graves disease. Clinical features of hyperthyroidism: nervousness, anxiety, increased perspiration, heat intolerance, tremors, hyperactivity, palpitations, weight loss despite increased appetite, reduction in menstrual flow or oligomenorrhea. One of my teacher usually asked or usually in lecture said कि खाए बकरी की तरह सूखे लकड़ी की तरह. तो the weight loss despite increased appetite. Clinical features again: hyperactivity, sinus tachycardia, systolic hypertension, warm, moist, soft hands, excessive perspiration, lead lag, fine tremors, weakness, and some features which are specific to Graves disease: diffuse, painless, and firm enlargement of thyroid gland, ophthalmopathy, dermopathy. So these are the two specific features of Graves disease, and here you can say exophthalmos, lead lag, lid retraction, chemosis, diplomia, ophthalmoplegia. These are all the features of Graves disease under the heading of ophthalmopathy. In skin, there is a deposition of glycose aminoglycans in the dermis of the lower leg and causing non-pitting edema. So this is picture of MNG, diffuse goiter. This is proptosis, lead lag, exophthalmos. This is the dermopathy. How we diagnose? The first part of diagnosis, as we know, that is history. So the typical clinical presentation. The second is thyroid profile. In thyroid profile, TSH is low, T3, T4 is elevated. Third, if we are thinking Graves disease, then the autoantibodies may be present. Fourth one, cardiac manifestations is there. So ECG. And if the patient has toxic multinodular goiter or toxic adenoma, we advise radioisotope scan. Treatment: antithyroid drugs, carbimazole, propylthiouracil, radioactive iodine treatment, or thyroidectomy. So these are the treatment options: antithyroid drugs, radioactive iodine, and thyroidectomy. So this is a very good chart which explains a lot of things. Now the first thing is diffuse toxic goiter. If a patient has diffuse toxic goiter, then is it a small goiter or it is a large goiter? Or age of the patient is more than 45 years or under 45 years. If the age is more than 45 years, again, diffuse toxic goiter. Diffuse toxic goiter, small in size, then age over 45, antithyroid drugs or radioiodine therapy. Under 45, surgery. Diffuse toxic goiter, large goiter. In large goiter, the antithyroid drugs is not usually responsive, but we may give. So diffuse toxic goiter, small goiter, large goiter. The second part is age, over 45, under 45. Over 45, antithyroid drugs, or radioiodine therapy. Under 45, surgery. Why we choose this age group 45? Because this age group is usually the ladies completed the female, this is common disease in females, and at this age most of the females completed uh, their family life, and they have menopause at this age group. So but if a patient came to you with 30 years and she said, I have completed my family, so you can change this age from 45 to 30 years, because this is the age because of pregnancies. Because if we advise रेडियोआयोडीन थेरेपी तो वो जो फ्यूचर प्रेगनेंसीज होगी उसमें प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट कर सकता है. सो डिफ्यूज टॉक्सिकोएटर, over 45, antithyroid drugs, radioiodine therapy. Under 45, surgery. Which type of surgery we will discuss later on, but surgery. Toxic nodular goiter, straightforward surgery. Toxic solitary nodule, again, over 45, radioiodine. Below 45, surgery. So, surgery. There is a wide debate on thyroidectomy, subtotal, near total, or total. Subtotal, near total, or total. But now the concept is that majority of young surgeons, they are going for total thyroidectomy, because in neck second surgery is difficult. If we perform subtotal and near total thyroidectomy and patient's disease reoccur, ठीक है, अगर हमने थायराइडेक्टोमी की सबटोटल की या नियर टोटल की और पेशेंट को दोबारा थायराइडोसिकोसिस हो गया, दोबारा उसको डिफ्यूज टॉक्सिकोएटर डेवलप हो गया, तो फिर दोबारा निकालना पड़ेगा. जब दोबारा निकालने जाएंगे तो वहाँ पर कॉम्प्लिकेशन के चांसेस बढ़ जाएंगे. फर्स्ट टाइम के अंदर भी पैराथायराइड और रिकरेंट लैरिंजियल नर्व इंजरी के चांसेस होते हैं, लेकिन फर्स्ट टाइम चूँकि स्ट्रक्चर्स अल्लाह ने बनाए हैं तो वो अपने नॉर्मल एनाटॉमिकल लैंडमार्क्स पे होते हैं, तो वो इजीली आइडेंटिफाइबल होते हैं. सेकंड टाइम वो इजीली आइडेंटिफाइबल नहीं होते. द इंजरीज, द कॉम्प्लिकेशन आर मच 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 हायर इन रीडू सर्जरी और सेकंड सर्जरी. सो दैट्स व्हाई मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द सर्जन्स वो जब भी सर्जरी करने जाते हैं थायराइड में, अगर वो एक तरफ जाए तो पूरा लोब निकाल लेते हैं, अगर उन्होंने दोनों तरफ करना हो तो वो टोटल थायराइडेक्टोमी करते हैं. सब टोटल, नियर टोटल, पार्शियल थायराइडेक्टोमी आजकल यूजुअली रिकमेंडेड नहीं है. ठीक है, इसमें से अगर कोई इख्तलाफ करना चाहे या अपोज करना चाहे तो ठीक है, सेकंड स्कूल ऑफ थॉट भी है, उनके अपने एडवांटेज डिसएडवांटेज है, बट इन आवर सेटअप, इन आवर वार्ड, वी आर एडवाइज्ड टोटल थायराइडेक्टोमी. अच्छा, अब जो है अगर पेशेंट को पहले रिकरेंस हो गया, पहले उसकी सर्जरी हुई थी, अब रिकरेंस हो गया, अगर वो अंडर 45 है तो एंटीथायराइड ड्रग्स दें, अगर ओवर 45 है तो रेडियोआयोडीन थेरेपी दें. अगर किसी भी वजह से उसको एंटीथायराइड ड्रग से स्टार्ट किए या रेडियोआयोडीन थेरेपी स्टार्ट की, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल ये डिफ्यूज टॉक्सिक गोइटर था, डिफ्यूज टॉक्सिक गोइटर में ओवर 45 ईयर्स हमने एंटीथायराइड ड्रग्स दी थी. अब अगर वो रेस्पॉन्स नहीं कर रही तो अगला स्टेज सर्जरी. रेडियोआयोडीन रेस्पॉन्स नहीं कर रही, अगला स्टेज इज सर्जरी. ठीक है, अब एंटीथायराइड ड्रग्स कितनी दें, कितने अरसे तक दें? एंटीथायराइड ड्रग्स यूजुअली रिकमेंडेड 2 to 3 ईयर्स है, लेकिन यूजुअली हम लोग क्या करते हैं हमारी प्रैक्टिस में, वी स्टार्ट एंटीथायराइड ड्रग्स एंड चेक पेशेंट रेस्पॉन्स विद इन 6 मंथ. अगर 6 मंथ के अंदर पेशेंट का रेस्पॉन्स हमें अच्छा मिल जाता है तो हम उसको कंटिन्यू करते हैं 2 to 3 ईयर्स के लिए, और अगर हमें रेस्पॉन्स अच्छा नहीं मिलता तो हम उसको स्टॉप कर देते हैं. ठीक है.